Happy Sunday. Now, I have to say, you're going to look at the cover of this book and see a chili pepper. It's symbolic for metabolism. I'm not saying to eat the chili pepper. The book is talking about the benefits of eating red meat, saturated fat. And the book just released this week. It's available on hardcover, Kindle, Audible. I narrated the Audible myself. I actually have 2 copies to give away for those who are very enthusiastic. I have 2 goals in this short presentation. Number 1, I want you to get a specific blood test done this year, which we'll talk about. Number 2, as Dr. Kiltz, the great Dr. Kiltz mentioned, I want you to take a certain supplement every single day. Now, before I get to those 2 goals, we have to share some of the stats out there. In this amazing country, the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, we spend $4.6 trillion on healthcare every single year. If that was a GDP, it would be the 4th largest GDP in the entire world. Yet we are sicker than ever before, and pharmaceutical companies are richer than ever before. We rank 37 in the world in terms of health. So I used to say the system is broken. We've heard that before. I don't think that way anymore. The system is set up the way it's set up. It's designed that way. It's a sick care system. And out of that $4.6 trillion that we spend every single year, 1 out of every $4 is spent on diabetes, primarily type 2, which we all know in this room is 100% preventable. And what else? 100% reversible. How many of you know somebody right now who has diabetes? Look around the room. Keep your hands up. How many of you have lost somebody due to the complications of diabetes? I have. And here's the interesting thing about diabetes. Nobody really dies from diabetes. It's pretty rare. It's what it leads to. So that person that you're thinking about, that you raised your hand, that passed away from diabetes, they didn't die from diabetes, they died with diabetes. They probably died from a heart attack, a stroke. That's what happened to my dad. Amputation, kidney failure. It's what it leads to. But in Metabolic Freedom, in my brand new book, I talk about the progression of these metabolic diseases. And it starts with one hormone. What's the hormone? This is a smart group. Insulin. And I'm going to give away a book right now to the person who gets this answer correctly. How long does it take? Meaning you could have full-blown insulin resistance, hyperinsulinemia, for how long until the A1C changes where you're diagnosed with diabetes? 6 weeks? 2 years? Who said 10? Wait, who said 10 first? I saw you in the white shirt. Okay, so it's 6 to 14 years. 10 years is the average there, so come get a book. Give her a big round of applause. What's your name? Lauren. Here you go, Lauren. Great answer. Did you know that, or did you guess?
I learned it from you, and this book is coming, so if you want to
Oh, that's sweet. I'll let you gift it to somebody. Thank you so much for pre-ordering it. 6 to 14 years. If you want to look it up, it's called the Whitehall Study 2. That means you could have full-blown insulin resistance. Maybe our friends and maybe you are checking your fasting glucose and your A1C. It will not change, but you have full-blown insulin resistance for 6 to 14 years because your pancreas is so busy producing so much insulin to clear that excess glucose until it cannot. It goes deaf to the screams of insulin. That's why I want you to write this down. The most important blood test to get done and to share with your friends and family is what? Smart group. A fasting insulin blood test. There's a couple of things you need to know about that test. Number 1, insurance doesn't really cover it. Do you know why? Why don't conventional doctors order that test? Those are all good answers, but the main reason is there's no medication for a high insulin. So why would we order that? Yeah, there's nothing in the code that says, okay, high insulin, write a medication. They wait until the blood sugars increase. So when you get that test back, the reference range will be 3 to 28. And if you're above 7, that's insulin resistance. So if it comes back at 11, 22, 17, it won't be flagged as being an issue, but that is insulin resistance. So we want to make sure our fasting insulin is between 3 and 6. How many of you have tested your fasting insulin this year? All right. How many of you are going to test your fasting insulin this year? Get that done. In the United States, 93% of Americans are metabolically unhealthy. And I think when I share stats and statistics, some left-brainers who are analytical, they get it. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But sometimes it goes over our heads. So let's envision your downtown area, wherever city you live. You see 100 people on the streets. 93 out of those 100 people have metabolic dysfunction. 93%. And it starts with our environment. You know, this environment is incredible because we're focusing on ancestral nutrition, animal-based diet. I'm grateful to Scott for putting this on. Let's actually give Scott a big round of applause here. But when we go back home and we talk about eating red meat and cholesterol, our friends and family think we're crazy. You're going to have a heart attack. What about your cholesterol levels? So our environment is very important, which is going to bring me to the second part here. Because what happens in your environment, and when I say your environment, it's your friends, your family, your social media feed, the TV, if you end up watching TV, all that goes into your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And it determines your belief system, your self-image of yourself. It determines the actions you take, your results you get, and essentially your destiny. So I'll show you how this works in terms of pharmaceutical companies. Every Thursday, I have dinner with my mom and my fiance. My mom makes an incredible Persian dinner. I'm Iranian, and she makes Persian food. And we were having dinner at the dinner table every Thursday, and next to the dinner table is the living room, and the television is on. And she loves the Hallmark Channel. She's seen those movies over and over. And I noticed that on the television, the TV commercials are pharmaceutical, maybe some fast food, a BMW commercial, and then pharmaceutical. And I just noticed, oh my gosh, how many of these commercials are funded by Big Pharma? And I'll ask you the question. What percentage of TV commercials here in the United States are funded by Big Pharma? 75%. Usually Pfizer, yes. And you know what's crazy? When you actually watch those TV commercials, let's say it's about depression, and then the side effects are suicidal thoughts. Out of the 195 countries in the world, how many of them allow for Big Pharma to market directly to consumer? 2 countries. What's the other country? The US and New Zealand. Yeah, New Zealand. Only 2 countries. Now, with RFK and the MAHA movement, I think that's going to change. I pray that's going to change in the United States. But you know what? We cannot rely on the government, even if we think it's good things. I remember Bob Proctor. How many of you know Bob Proctor? The GOAT. Yeah, the greatest. Yeah, kilt. Bob Proctor said something, and I hope you get this. He said, if everybody swept their own front porch, the entire town would be clean. Get that? Okay, you don't get that? That means you can't rely on the government to take care of you or other people. It's your responsibility. And if you took care of yourself, the entire world, the entire nation would be thriving and healthy and beneficial. Yeah. Which brings me to the most important supplement in the world. Don't give it away, although Kilt gave it a little bit of away, because some of you don't know it. Chapter 10 of Metabolic Freedom is all about how your thoughts influence longevity or disease. It's my favorite chapter in the book. And if you get the book, read chapter 10 or listen to chapter 10. My next book will be all about chapter 10. And I talk about the nocebo effect and the placebo effect. And I'm going to share a story with you right now to illustrate how powerful your thoughts are. Then it'll lead us to the supplement. So this is a true story that I got from Bob Proctor from the 1960s. It was in the newspapers, and it was about a train station employee. He worked inside of a refrigerator cart inside of a train. And one night, this guy was working late, didn't realize it was past the time he was supposed to clock out, and all of his coworkers had left. He tried to exit that refrigerator cart, but they had locked him in there. And he was banging on that door, trying to break it loose, but he was stuck, and his thoughts got the best of him, as it would for many of us. And he was starting to panic. He was starting to freak out. And he would write on the wall, he would document on the wall his night, his journey. The newspapers actually picked this up on photos the next day. At 12 a.m., he wrote the words, "I'm freezing, I'm stuck, nobody's around." 1 a.m., still cold, temperature keeps dropping, I think I'm gonna die. 3 a.m., I could barely move, I'm freezing to death. 7 a.m. comes around, his coworkers clock in, they open up that refrigerator cart and they see the man died, froze to death, hypothermia. Here's the interesting part about the story. When they investigated the temperature apparatus that this man was looking at, it had been malfunctioning for weeks and it never dropped below 55 degrees Fahrenheit. His thoughts literally created death. If your thoughts can do that, do you think your thoughts could heal you as well? 100%, yes. We've heard of the placebo effect. That was the nocebo effect. The placebo effect actually originated in World War II. An anesthesiologist named Dr. Henry Beecher was working with the United States military, and he was working inside of a medical tent during a German bombardment, and these soldiers were coming into that medical tent with some extreme wounds. So he would administer morphine to stabilize the soldiers long enough to transfer them to the hospital, perform surgery, save their life. And they ended up running out of morphine. And the nurse didn't know what to do. You know what she did? She put saline solution, salt water, in the needles, told Dr. Beecher, "I'm giving you more morphine." He had the belief it was morphine. He transferred that belief to the soldiers, and most of them survived, thinking they were getting morphine, but it was salt water. When the war ended, Harvard studied what happened here, and that was the origination of the placebo effect. So your mind could work for you, it could work against you. One more quick story, and then the vitamin, and then we're off to a panel. How much time do I have, by the way? I don't want to delay the whole day today. So the other story is about a football stadium in California, Los Angeles, California, 1970s. And I want you to envision an entire stadium packed watching a football game. Two people opposite ends of this football stadium start getting sick. They start throwing up, vomiting. So they both go to the medical tent at the stadium, and the doctor on staff there is wondering, why are these two people so sick? He's asking them a series of questions. Both of them didn't come together. They were sitting separately. The only thing they had in common was that they both drank soda from the soda dispensing machines. So he thought, oh, there must be something wrong with the soda machine. There must be copper, heavy metal, something coming through. I need to let the entire stadium know that you should not drink from the soda machine. So he goes on the PA system, "Attention, this is Dr. We have two people who are really sick. They are throwing up, they are vomiting because they drank from the soda machine. I want to advise you not to drink from the soda machine." What do you think happened next? an entire stadium starts throwing up. Even people who didn't drink soda. This is a true story. Ambulances are coming back and forth, taking people to the hospital. They investigated the soda machine. They find out there was nothing wrong with the soda machines, other than it being sugar. They gave that information to the people in the hospital. They stopped being sick in a second, just like that. You know, we have 60,000 thoughts every single day. That's what psychiatrists estimate, 60,000 thoughts. And your thoughts are a frequency, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, world-renowned cell biologist. Every thought is a frequency that communicates with your DNA. If it's a hateful thought, an angry thought, a resentful thought, that communication sent to your DNA produces inflammatory proteins. It damages your DNA. It shortens your lifespan with a single thought. But if it's a loving thought, an abundant thought, a grateful thought, same signal sent, but now your body produces anti-inflammatory proteins. So for me, the greatest health tip I've ever learned is that you have 60,000 opportunities to put your body in an anti-inflammatory healing state every single day with your thoughts. And when you take vitamin G, you automatically get those benefits. So vitamin G has been studied by UC Davis, and those who take vitamin G have healthier blood pressure levels, healthier blood sugar levels. JAMA put out a study done by Harvard last year that showed 49,275 nurses. It's the biggest study ever done on vitamin G. 49,000 nurses. The nurses who took vitamin G every single day had a 9% reduction in dying from all-cause mortality and a 15% reduction in dying from cardiovascular disease versus the nurses who didn't take vitamin G. Another study showed that caregivers, which is a very stressful lifestyle, the caregivers who took vitamin G at night, when they measured their mitochondrial health through a process called MHI, Mitochondrial Health Index, they had healthier mitochondria the next morning. Vitamin G supports the mitochondria, supports insulin resistance. I'm looking at the vendors here, and we have some wonderful vendors. I don't see vitamin G listed here. What's vitamin G? And you know, it's not the practice of gratitude. It's not a it's the feeling of gratitude. How many of you have an intentional gratitude feeling every day? Well, you live it, my friend. All those benefits are on gratitude. Get your vitamin G every single day. Instead of writing down 10 things you're grateful for and treating it like a checklist, choose one or two things you're grateful for and stay there for a minute and put all your feelings into it. It boosts oxytocin, dopamine, lowers cortisol, lowers blood sugar, and it's free. And there's no toxicity limit. And I don't have an affiliate link or a coupon code. You could get it right now. I have vitamin G for you all. Thank you for your energy and your time. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.